Hello and welcome. Glad you could all join us here today. So let's jump right in and talk about inside messages on Go for Lunch for June the 2nd, 2026. Brought to you by GoFor Technology. I'm Roger Harmon, your host, and we're here to make your technology work for you. It's I Love My Dentist Day. So hopefully you have a good relationship with your dentist. I saw my dentist last week and I love my dentist. So show a little love for your dentist today. So we're going to talk about inside messages, also known as iMessages. Apple kind of officially changed the name a while back, but you'll still see references to iMessages on Apple websites and such. So the first thing we're going to talk about is message effects. You can press and hold the send button and you get two categories of message effects. One is called bubble and the other is called screen. So let's just jump into our iPhone and we're going to go to messages and we're going to pick on Bob here. So what we're going to do is type a message to Bob. How you doing, Bob? I'm actually going to dictate a message to Bob. And so if I hold down on the white arrow in the blue background here, I get message effects. So the bubble effects are slam. That's what slam looks like. And this is loud. And then we have this one, which is called small, I think. And then invisible. No, it's called gentle. Sorry. Excuse me. And not sure why you do want to use invisible, but there it is. And then you click up here and you have screen effects. So that's the first one. I'm not sure what that's called. We have spotlight. And then we have balloons. And so where you see down here the dots show you that there's more to come. There's confetti. And there's the heart, which will repeat itself after a few seconds. Here it comes. There it goes. And lasers from the top and the bottom. Then we have fireworks. And then this last one, I guess, is just another kind of fireworks. So you can choose any of those to spruce up your messages. You can also do a long press on text. Excuse me. And then you can choose text effects in the pop-up menu and you'll see some of the different ones. So we're going to go back to our iPhone. And so we're going to do a long press on the text itself. And this doesn't always work. There we go. Oop, didn't work that time. There we go. So you get this pop-up menu here. You hit the little right arrow. And then you see text effects right here. And then there they all are. We have big. We have shake. We have explode. And bloom. And small, which gets a little bigger. Nod. Ripple. And jitter. So you can see it's jittering there. So you can send all of those using text effects. So you can also do handwriting. So you have to turn the phone into landscape position to do this, and then you press the key at the lower right corner. So I can't actually show the phone in landscape, the whole screen anyway, so bear with me. So we're going to just click here to get rid of those effects. We're going to turn the phone into landscape like this, and we're going to tap on the message to get the keyboard, and you'll see down here in the lower right hand corner is a little symbol. You press on that, and then you have a clear tablet to write on. So we can write here HELLO, sort of. So there you see we have hello, and then when we click on done up here in the upper right hand corner, it goes to our message. So let's get our phone position there, something like that. And then I can send that to whoever. You could also do diagrams, any kind of a drawing. So the limits are endless. So we hit the little X there to get rid of that. So you could also use a stylus if you have one to make that a little neater. So you can also use different fonts. To do this, you go to your browser and type in Lingo Jam. And then you copy a fancy font and paste it right into your message. So let's go back here to our iPhone, and let's go to our browser. And actually, I already typed in Lingo Jam, so you can see. Let me show you how that works, because there's another. So I'm going to type in Lingo. So as you can see here, there are two different Lingo Jam sites. One of them is a translator, and the other one is the fancy text generator. So make sure you choose the fancy text generator. So up here, we're going to type in our normal text. Actually, we're going to dictate it. Congratulations. And then down here, you can see our fancy text. So I'm going to choose this one here. So I'm going to touch that. Touch it again. There we go. I'm going to select it. There we go. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go up and over to get back to messages. And I'm going to just add it to Bob's jitter. I'm going to paste it. And there we have it. Is congratulations, Bob. Whatever it is that you did, congratulations. So there are also apps in Messages. So these are not the same apps as on the Mac or the iPhone and iPad. They're separate apps for Messages. So one of the most common things you get in the App Store for Messages is stickers. And you can also get games. So to get to an app, you hit the plus sign, and you can, well, let's talk about some of the apps here that we have. So you have Apple Cash. We'll show you that. Genmoji and Image Playground. So those are the ones we're going to talk about. So here's Apple Cash. So if you have Apple Cash set up, you just tap on the Apple Cash and you tap on the amount and you put in the amount, and then you can either request that money from someone or you can send it to someone, but you have to have your Apple Cash set up in your Apple Wallet. So the next one is Genmoji. So we're going to hit the plus sign again. we're having to hit it twice to get to the different functions here. So here's Genmoji. So Genmoji is a built-in system to generate graphics. So I'm going to put in birthday cake and hit the check mark in the bottom right hand corner, and there I have a birthday cake, and it's going to generate some more versions. So here's a birthday cake with strawberries, and we swipe from right to left. There's more, looks like candy kisses, a shoe, and cupcakes, and it's still generating. So there's a layer cake with chocolate frosting and a different arrangement on top, and again it took a minute to generate one. I guess that's all we get, but we can add to that. So we can click here on show more. So we can add a heart to that. And there we go. So there's your heart. So you can do all sorts of things with Genmoji. So there's a different version of the heart. And there's interesting. We lost the cake altogether and got butterflies. So you can't read it here probably, but down here it says beta. Genmoji may create unexpected results. I think this is an unexpected result right here. And there's a nice big tall cake with a heart on top. So that's Genmoji. So we're going to go back here and we're going to hit the plus sign again and go down to Image Playground. So this is basically the same thing as Genmoji. So if we show more here, we want to do some fireworks, and we're going to have a party. So we got fireworks and a party, and it's generating an image. So you got a party there with flowers in the foreground. No, maybe I hit spring instead of party. So there's some spring flowers and fireworks in the background. So just play around with those and see how much fun you can have. So another one is travel stickers and Bitmoji, which is something you have to download, and your location. So we're going to go back and look at this, and we're going to hit our plus sign again and again and scroll down. So here's travel stickers. So I think this is something that I downloaded from the App Store. So these are little fun stickers. For example, you could say, I've landed. Now it's very small there. If we get rid of this, so we're going to get rid of that, and we go back here to the travel stickers and we say I landed. So if you just do one, it comes out larger like that. So I can send that to Bob, let him know that I landed. Okay, and then the next one we have is Bitmoji. Again, this is something, an app that you have to add, but it's a fun app where you create a image of yourself, and then it has all these different variations. For example, it's Tuesday. So we can send that to Bob. And then location is a tricky one. So you go down here to location. So in order to use location, you have to have location services turned on. So you would do that in your settings, I don't have it turned on. If I click here, it will go to settings. Okay, there's your locations. And so we would go down here to messages. And you see I have it turned on to never. So we'll say that while using the app, and then we'll tap up here to get back to messages, hit the plus sign, go to location, and then that gives my location, and I can share it with Bob. And then I can choose whether I do it indefinitely until the end of the day or for an hour. So we'll just click for an hour, and there's locations. So Memoji, music are two other things you can do. So let's go back here. So if you wanted to go down here, IMDb is another thing. If you wanted to share a movie that you enjoyed with somebody, you can use IMDb. Here's Memoji. And so you have to look into the camera, and you can see the Memoji is mimicking my expression. So you get an expression you like, and then you can send it. So you notice the little red dot there. There, see the red dot at the lower right hand corner? That means it's recording, and then you stop that, and then whatever movements I did will be sent in the Memoji. So you can also share music from Pandora. You can do money transactions with Venmo, and you can invite people to a Zoom meeting. All of this you can do inside Messages. Who knew? So another nice thing is you can pin contacts up to the top of the page. So people that you frequently talk to, you can keep them up on top, up to 9 different people. And to pin them, you just press down and choose pin. To unpin them, you press down a long press and unpin them. So let's see how that works. So we're here, and here's my friend Ron. So I'm going to press down, and you'll notice down here on the bottom we get a little pop-up menu. It says pin. Click on that, and now Ron is up here in my pin message. And again, you can have 9 people up here. And then if I want to unpin somebody, I just do a long press again, and then unpin is the option here. And there you go. So you can change those as your different conversations require. So it's an easy way to make sure you don't miss a conversation with somebody that's important to you. So filtering unknown senders is something that you need to set up. So you do that by going to Messages, and Messages, the app, and then you scroll down to Unknown Senders, and then you go to Filter Spam as well. So we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to get back out of here. Okay, so we're going to go to Messages, so I'm going to do it the lazy way. Messages. So here's the messages. Stop that. Wait a minute. I got carried away there. Messages. Okay, here we are. So here we are in Messages. So you have to scroll down a little bit to Unknown Senders right here. So you want to turn on Screen Unknown Senders. So while you're here, let's do some other things. You also want to turn on filter spam, which will hide communications and move messages to the spam list. Another thing you might want to check while you're in here is RCS messaging. So this is something that's fairly new, and this enhances your experience when you are messaging with people on Android phones. So you want to turn on all of these things probably. And then you also want to have MMS messaging turned on. That's for multimedia. So that lets you send pictures and stuff to Android phones. You also might want to do the satellite connection demo just so you know how that works in case you ever need it. But here's what I wanted to point out is message history. So you can keep your message for 30 days, for 1 year, or forever. So I recommend 1 year so that won't load up your storage too badly. So then you have message history, and you want to keep your messages for 1 year as we just demonstrated. So how do you get to your spam and your different messages? You go to the little 3 horizontal lines here in the upper right hand corner of your phone. So let's go back to our phone here, and we're going to get back into our messages by going up and over. There we are. So you can see the 3 little horizontal lines in the upper right hand corner. You click on that, so normally it'll be checked on messages, so that's where you want it normally. But you want to also check these things occasionally, like once a week or so. So we're going to click on transactions. There's nothing there. Promotions. There's nothing there. Spam. Lots of things there. But you can see these are all pretty old. 45 days is the newest one. To get rid of that, you would just swipe to the right and delete the conversation, and it's gone. So you want to clean these out periodically. And then you can also look at recently deleted if you want something that you wanted you didn't want to delete. And then the last one is it goes back to your settings where we were just a minute ago. So that's the way that messages work, and of course you want to make sure and put it back on messages. So you have the check mark in front of messages, so that's normal. So that brings us to questions. If you haven't already, it looks like you have already, put some things in there. And do me a favor, please forward the GoFor Gazette to anybody you know that uses Apple devices so we can help more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Just click that subscribe button down below. Press the little bell so you will know when we are live. And give us a thumbs up so other people will see our presentations. So let's see what we have here. So let's see. Let me get back here and look at your. So Leslie says, okay, well, here's a good question. Alice asks, are you taking a break in July, Roger? And the answer is yes. So Bob and I are going to Macstock in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And that is going to be July, starting, I think, well, we're going to be there July 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So there will not be a Go for Lunch on July 14th, I think it is. But I'm not taking the whole month of July off as I have in the past because, yeah, July 14th there will be no Go for Lunch, and of course there will be probably be a Gopher Gazette that will alert you to that, because in August I'm also taking off and going on vacation around the 20th of August. So there will be one Go for Lunch at that time that will not be presented. So good question there. So what do we got here? So Leslie Ann says she can't find the little icon in landscape to write. So it's just a little key. It's one of the keys. It's in the absolute lower right hand corner. It's a little thing like this, like that. So I'm sure you're gonna look for it again. It'll be there. And Susan says some of those effects seem useful and others seem to be just fun. I like to imagine that Apple teaches dreaming up all this stuff and getting paid to do that. Yep. Oh, Apple techies are getting paid to dream all those up. Yes, they are. And Bob says he hasn't received the $20 yet. Don't hold your breath. And Chris says Jiffy is a fun little video snippet. Yes, I forgot to show you Jiffies, but you saw when I hit the plus sign the first time, that's when the Jiffies came up. So you can see those. And thank you, Alice, for that reminder to give us a thumbs up. And Susan said, I missed how you got apps to show up. Please show again. Okay, we sure will. So we're going to go back to our phone. We're going to go into Messages. And we're going to go to Bob. We're going to hit the plus sign. So these are pictures that people have, these are pictures from my library actually. So we're going to hit the plus sign again, and then we're going to go down here to Store. So the way you get it to show up is you hit Store right there. And there's the store. I'm sorry, I guess I didn't do that. So and you can scroll horizontally. So you swipe from right to left and you see there's more stickers. Some of them are free with in-app purchases. Some of them cost from the beginning. Some of these, like the permanent marker stickers, you click on Get, and those are free. I'm not going to load those in. So you can see there's lots of stickers. And then we have games. So you have games here, again scrolling from right to left, and that's all the games. And there used to be a tic-tac-toe game in here, but I don't see it. So I guess that's not there anymore. And then we have kitten stickers and memes and paw, some stickers, and watermelon stickers. And here's your free apps. So you got games here that are free. You got your gift keyboard. So that's how you do it. And here are the most popular paid ones. So that's how that works. So Leslie Ann says, I don't have Image Playground. I have Images. So I don't know why you wouldn't have Image Playground. Let's see here. So if I go back and hit the plus twice, so there it should be right there, Image Playground after Genmoji. So you know what? I think you have to download Image Playground. I think it doesn't come by default with your operating system. So go to your so that would be your iOS App Store and download Image Playground. And Chris says, for unknown messages, I always check for ones that need to be known. Right. So you can, when you have an unknown message, you can tell it that that's a known message and it will get put into your regular messages. And Leslie Ann found the squiggle. Good name for it. So I'm glad you found that. So thank you for all the participation. That makes these more fun for everyone, and we all learn more in the process. So if you have any questions that you think of after the fact, you can contact me by telephone or by email. That information is coming up next. And next week we'll be looking at what happened at Apple's keynote for the Worldwide Developers Conference. So you don't want to miss that. So tune in next week at high noon for another Go for Lunch. Take care.